dating. When are we dating? And so that forced us to talk about it. And we're like, well, we don't, we both didn't like labels, but we both said that we just knew that we um, didn't like, we just would like to just hang out with just each other. And to make a short story long, he never ever kissed me. I ended up kissing him, and we got engaged a week after our first real kiss. So, and then he and I waited until we were married to have sex, and it finally went how I wanted it, And I just thought that since I did it right this time, that everything would be all peachy, but there's still consequences to sin. Um, my past still, it just really, um, we've been married almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years this summer, and there's still issues with my past, just with feeling worthless and um, just all this stuff. Like I never, at the beginning of our marriage, I just didn't believe that he truly loved me. Like I thought, well, he can't. No one else has. So how could he? How can he love me for me? Because I'm still sexy. I'm not being cocky. I just mean I still have a good body and nice hair. Like how could he like me for me? And I didn't believe it for the longest time. And any time that he was grumpy or because humans are humans, and he was still a jerk. So just like a male. Nothing huge, but just insensitive and all that. And I would just think, well, he doesn't love me. He doesn't love me. Here we go again, type of thing. It took me until I was pregnant with our first daughter. Well, we only have one daughter, but our first kid. And I always um, to back up a little bit, because of all of these issues and stuffing problems, I've always had trouble with overeating, like always. I just always would overeat, but because of my love of exercise, I would able to over exercise to make up for it. And that was just a struggle I always had. Even though I had a nice body, it's almost like I was a big girl inside of a little body, because I struggled with overeating so much that I just had to totally work out so hard. And so it's just that battle of overeating, overworking out, and stuff like that. So finally, when I got pregnant, I was like, I'm done. I'm taking a break. I'm not gonna I'm tired of this battle with food. I'm just gonna give in. And so I ate the first week I was pregnant. I am not kidding. My jeans, in the first 7 days of finding out I was pregnant, my jeans would not go past my knees. I am not kidding. I gained weight that fast. And so when people think I don't struggle with weight, if I let go for a second, I mean, I am big. And so I ended up gaining 85 pounds, or I ended up gaining 75 pounds, which really, it could have been worse, but because my doctor was even getting on to me. He's like, you're just gaining too much weight. And I just felt so out of control. I just felt like I couldn't stop eating. And so finally, when I was 5 or 6 months, I started counting my calories and just trying to get full on vegetables. And so I would have gained way, way more if I wouldn't have got back. So I still gained 75 pounds, even though, and that was only in 5 months. So I would have, yeah, if I kept doing that, I would have ended up 300 pounds, because I was getting up there. But and I was going to beauty school at the time, and so of course all my hair was gone, and it was a nasty color, and so I just felt so ugly. I just felt surely my husband doesn't love me now. And it took me being in labor with Mercedes, and I was just in so much pain, and trying to nurse her and stuff. It was just so hard. She just was screaming all night long, and all that stuff. And my husband just started sobbing, and I was like, it's okay. I thought he was crying about the baby. I was like, it's okay, honey. I'm gonna get the hang of this, and she won't be crying, forever. And he's like, I don't care about the baby. He's like, I'm just so sad that you have to suffer like this. And I mean, and he was like sobbing, and he never cries. Like, he's an army man, like, all the way, and he never cries. And that night in the hospital, like, I finally believed him for the first time that he loved me. So it's almost like I had to get overweight and have nappy hair to finally believe that he loved me. If I would have never, like, got that big, I still would be struggling with that. And so it was such a struggle, but I'm glad I had to go through it because I just wouldn't be the same. I couldn't believe he loved me like that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I loved other people like that, but of course, because I knew, because I, like I said in the beginning, like, but I just couldn't believe that, I actually married someone that wasn't shallow. I couldn't believe that. So, yeah, this is so long, but, so anyways, I ended up losing the weight with a lot of exercise and, eating healthy. And just a quick tip on, like, if you struggle with overeating and, like, binging and stuff like that, the answer is vegetables. Like, I just had to stay away from all other foods that I couldn't handle, and I'd make, like, vegetable soup, like chicken vegetable soup, and, like, would binge on vegetable soup until I was so stuffed. And I would just binge on vegetables because it's all about, like, stuffing your feelings, and if you stuff it with vegetables, you can't gain weight. Unless you put a lot of, like, really fatty meats. But I use, like, chicken broth and instead of, like, tomato paste, because tomato paste is higher in calories. But if you're a binge eater, I'd even say tomato paste isn't bad at first. I mean, because it's like keeping yourself from, like, it's the habit that gets us, like, just, like, overeating until you're just so full that you're so full that now you're distracted from what you were upset about. Well, you can do that with vegetables. And soup was perfect because it was savory and it wasn't just like eating like a whole bunch of broccoli, like, raw or whatever. But although steamed broccoli, I binged on that. I would have, like, so much, and I'll have to make another video on my whole like, eating, and, like, there's just so much more to my life, like, with deployments with my husband, and then struggling with an eating disorder, with bulimia, and not eating, like, so then I had, like, an eating disorder person's mind, even though my body wasn't showing it. But yeah, that's just pretty much my whole life story. And I still struggle a lot with addictions. Like, I struggled with, like, over shopping. Like, when my husband went overseas, like, I used shopping to fill the hole. And Jesus is the only answer. Like, when I just spend time, like, I don't know how it works, but it just does. I mean, it's supernatural, and it is really supernatural how he, like, completely saves me, because if I, like, focus on God and, like, being in the Bible, I don't crave to shop or overeat or drink, or undereat or purge or whatever. Okay, sorry about that. I just got really overwhelmed about, there's just so much to tell about my whole life, and I was just getting overwhelmed about how I just was mumbling on and on. But if you have any questions, because there's still, like I said, I've been an Army wife, so my husband's been deployed twice, and that's when my addictions would pop up, and so I did